A 5'9" humanoid robot walks across a factory floor, removes its own battery, slides in a new one, and is back at work in 3 minutes. No human touches it. It does this 10 hours a day, every day, with millimeter precision. The factory is not in Shenzhen. It is not in Hangzhou. It is in the United States. This is not a Boston Dynamics machine, Tesla's Optimus, or Figure's Figure DO3. It is a UBTECH Walker S2, designed in China, mass-produced in China, and, as of late 2025, deployed inside the production line of one of America's largest semiconductor companies. Detroit has spent the last 2 years building a wall against Chinese cars. That wall does not matter anymore. While they fought electric vehicles at the border, the robots walked in through a different door. By the end of this video, you will understand what Walker S2 can do, why an American chipmaker bought them before any American automaker did, and the single fact about American humanoids that should be alarming to Detroit. What Detroit is actually furious about is not this robot. It is something the tariffs were never going to stop. For nearly a decade, industrial humanoid robots have been coming soon. Tesla announced Optimus in 2021. Figure raised hundreds of millions on a promise of factory deployment. Apptronic, 1X, and Agility all made public claims. Every American program had a slide deck, a demo video, and a future date. None were mass-produced at industrial scale by the end of 2025. UBTECH did. On November 17, 2025, the Shenzhen-based company formally announced mass production of the Walker S2. By the end of December, the 1,000th unit rolled off the line. The order book is more than 800 million yuan, roughly $112 million in confirmed contracts. The production target for 2026 is 5,000 units. For 2027, 10,000 units. The Walker S2 stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. It has 52 degrees of freedom, up from 41. It rotates at the waist 162 degrees. Each arm carries up to 33 pounds, and its eyes are an RGB binocular stereo vision system, the first in any humanoid, giving it three-dimensional depth perception the way a human reads a room. But here's the spec that changes everything. The Walker S2 is the world's first humanoid robot with autonomous battery swapping. When the battery runs low, it walks to a charging station, removes its own battery, inserts a fresh one, and walks back to work. 3 minutes, no downtime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is not a prototype. It is already on production lines at BYD, Geely Auto, FAW Volkswagen Qingdao, Audi FAW, BAIC New Energy, Foxconn, and SF Express. The Audi FAW Walker checks air conditioning systems for leaks, work previously done by humans because of the respiratory risk. But the moment that should have alarmed Detroit did not happen in China. It happened in Texas. Washington and Detroit framed the humanoid race as a future contest. The threat from China was supposed to be cars. The Connected Vehicle Security Act of 2026 was introduced by Senator Slotkin of Michigan and Senator Moreno of Ohio. It was backed by the United Auto Workers and General Motors. It was presented as defending 1.2 million Michigan jobs. In December 2025, Texas Instruments, building a brand new 300mm fabrication plant in Sherman, Texas, quietly bought UBTECH Walker S2 robots and deployed them on its production lines. That was first reported by China's Securities Times and confirmed by Dallas Innovates in January 2026. Chinese humanoid robots officially crossed onto American factory soil in late 2025, inside one of the country's most strategically sensitive industries. Texas Instruments builds chips for automotive systems, industrial sensors, and medical devices, tens of millions per day. Chinese-designed humanoids are now integrated into that line. Then it happened again. January 2026, Airbus signed its own agreement with UBTECH to deploy Walker S2 robots in aircraft assembly. The first time a humanoid robot ever entered the production ecosystem of a major aviation manufacturer. While Detroit lobbied for a wall at the front door, Chinese robots walked in through a side door labeled semiconductors. Then they moved into aerospace, then into European retail. In March 2026, German retail giant Rossmann began its own Walker S2 pilot in Berg-Weddell. But the Texas Instruments deal contained a clause every American manufacturer should be reading carefully. It was reciprocal. As Texas Instruments deploys Chinese humanoids in its plants, UBTECH agreed to incorporate more Texas Instruments components into the Walker S2. The robots American factories are buying will be built with American chips, running on a Chinese platform. And here's the part Detroit didn't see coming. Even the American robots aren't really American. Texas Instruments bought Chinese because there was no comparable American alternative at production scale. The American programs are real. Figure AI, valued at $39 billion. Apptronic, valued at $5 billion as of February 2026. Tesla Optimus, with a target launch price near $20,000. Figure 02 ran for 11 months at BMW's Spartanburg plant in South Carolina, the largest BMW factory in the world, contributing to over 30,000 BMW X3 vehicles, loading more than 90,000 sheet metal parts, walking roughly 200 miles inside, and hitting 99% placement accuracy. But every one of those robots depends on Chinese hardware, the high-precision actuators, the rare earth permanent magnets inside every motor. China controls the global supply, the batteries, the reducers, the sensors, the screws. On April 4th, 2025, China's Commerce Ministry restricted exports of 7 rare earth elements and magnets in response to American tariffs. Elon Musk publicly admitted those restrictions would delay Optimus production. Tony Yang, vice president at Unitree, said bluntly that 145% in American tariffs would push the price of a Unitree humanoid for American buyers to roughly $40,000. The components inside American robots come from the exact same supply chain. The United States imported $603 million in industrial robots in 2024, 3 times more than it exported. This is what 90% of global humanoid robot shipments running through Chinese factories actually means. China dominates not because the robots are cheaper. Unitree's H1, priced at $90,000, is 60 to 75% below Western equivalents, but the real moat is upstream. China owns the platform layer, the parts that go inside every humanoid robot on Earth, including the American ones. Detroit produces 0 rare earth magnets, 0 industrial humanoids, 0 of the high-precision actuators required to build one. The 1.2 million Michigan jobs Senator Slotkin cited are tied to an industry that does not make robots and does not make robot parts. Walker S2 at Texas Instruments is the visible part. The Chinese hardware inside Figure 03 at BMW Spartanburg is the invisible part. The tariff wall Detroit fought for was built around the wrong border. So what is Detroit actually furious about? It isn't the Walker S2. It's what the Walker S2 proves. China has already built the future of factory automation. The United States, despite the world's most valuable robotic startups and billions in venture capital, depends on Chinese suppliers to put a single humanoid on a single line. This is the beginning of an industrial dependency the United States cannot tariff its way out of because the parts are already inside every machine. You cannot tariff what you do not make. And right now, America does not make robots. China does.